But among other would-be presidents is a Cleveland man who has campaigned for the Oval Office for 9 years.
That's a lot of years. He believes he can be a winner this November. Who is this guy? Dell knows him.
He is write-in independent candidate Average Joe Schriner, who with his family has campaigned 83,000 miles coast to coast, small towns and big cities. And among the campaign stops, the supportive town of Bluffton, Ohio.
You're something special when you've been selected for Dell's folks.
To borrow a line from a once popular television show, will the real presidential candidate here please stand up? Do you know this man? He's Cleveland native Joe Schriner, who with his New Zealand-born wife Elizabeth and 3 children is campaigning for the White House as write-in independent candidate Average Joe Schriner. Current address, Bluffton, Ohio. His fundraising efforts minor compared with the major candidates.
As opposed to the $1,000 a plate breakfast, or dinners, we decided on oatmeal and rice and beans, basically, as our staples.
And when the candidate and family hit the road,
what happens is we pull into a town with the old campaign vehicle and banners and pass out information to people on the street. I'm running for president as an independent candidate. That's just some information about myself and my family and what we stand for, okay? We think that we need to heal the family, and if we don't heal the family, we won't heal the country. We're asking the American public to cut back dramatically on lifestyle and help much more in the third world. It ripples out all across the country. Oh, we're there! My wife and I were concerned parents, actually concerned parents from the Midwest, who think that right now the culture is spinning out of control, the planet's spinning out of control. We happen to believe global warming's real, and we want to make sure that there's a world left for our kids. And so we live in the inner city of Cleveland right now, and there's kids sleeping on alleys, and we just don't think that should be right. We're concerned parents not only about our kids, but everybody's kids. And so one town at a time, instead of joining the PTO, we decided, why don't we run for president?
And as NBC 26 reporter Larry Salazar shows us, it's a journey that redefines the old adage of hitting the campaign trail.
Wisconsin, it looked really flat on the map, but there's a lot of hills out here.
Pushing and pedaling on the road to the White House, 45-year-old Joe Schriner, a.k.a. Average Joe.
I'm running for president of the United States. We think there should be a flat tax. If you like what you read, tell some people, will you? Okay.
Stops from town to town.
Take care.
Campaigning for the U.S. presidency.
Society's getting nuts, Larry. In between the drugs and the youth violence and pollution levels, it's just not a safe place to be raising kids anymore.
Armed with that fundamental idea, Average Joe sold his home.
Put your shoes on first, Joseph.
Quit his job.
We're going to a place called Campbellsport, Joseph.
Took his wife and kids and began a journey across America. With Old Glory sticking out of his bike trailer, fluttering in the wind, this average man paints a picture of what he believes to be the future. That is pro-life, pro-environment, and pro-flat tax.
Occasionally what happens is people will look at you and say, well, what are you, nuts?
But Average Joe and his family are not deterred.
And people have really responded.
We think the climate is right for that.
Even though he and his family are living off contributions picked up along the 17,000-mile campaign trail, they remain enthusiastic. They also know this is an uphill climb.
It's gonna pan out, Larry. We're gonna win.
But this average family will take extraordinary steps to go the extra mile. Larry Salazar, NBC 26 News, Plymouth.
Campaign is picking up, and today a candidate making a run for the White House made a stopover in Duluth.
Stacey Eckets reports he's your average Joe in more ways than one.
Good. I'm running for president of the country. Joe Schriner. Did you? Yeah. Thank you. We're going to need it. It's kind of an uphill deal we got going. But
it just wouldn't be a campaign without the signs and the handshakes.
Take care. See ya.
Joe Schriner is your average Joe. And peeking at his campaign vehicle, it's also his campaign slogan.
From the average Joe standpoint, I cut my own grass. You know, we eat at Mexican restaurants because the budget is such that the chips are free.
During a stop at the sanitary district in Duluth,
turn the handle.
Joe and his family are learning about environmental breakthroughs.
As we travel, we'll talk about this in other places with the hopes of planting seeds about recycling, with the hope, and some of the innovations they were telling me about.
Average Joe and his wife come from Ohio and have 3 children who are the inspiration for their political platform.
Liz and I are running as concerned parents, and we want a world that's better not only for our kids, but the kids in the country and also the kids in the third world.
Joe admits he doesn't have millions of dollars or big money backers, and his entourage is small but loyal.
This is it. This is the entourage right here.
And when it comes to his campaign promises, he says he definitely practices what he preaches.
We can't ask people to cut back lifestyle-wise unless we're living it. And I mean, it can't, for a family of 5, it would be hard to get any smaller.
That's right. Joe, Joseph, Jonathan, Liz, and Sarah all live in this 1974 Dodge.
Step this way.
For the campaign crew, it's a home.
Right here, Dan, we have the kitchen.
And it's campaign headquarters.
Here we have the presidential wing office. There we go.
And it's filled with all sorts of amenities.
Occasionally, when we do want to get away for a little while, we do have the Air Force One helicopter.
So there you have it. A grassroots campaign determined to make a difference. One city at a time. An uphill battle this team is ready to climb.
Joe Schriner, he and his family are here from Ohio. They're here on the Central Coast, traveling across the country in their mobile home. But unlike some of the other candidates you've seen, Schreiner's campaign is small, and it's being funded by personal donations. Action News reporter Shelley Haar spent the day with Joe Schriner today. She's outside our Monterey newsroom with his story.
Dan, his voice is quiet, but the message is loud, calling America back to family values and stronger faith. But can high hopes pave the way to the presidency? The average Joe, as he likes to be called, seems to think so.
Hey.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah, do me a favor. Yeah, tell some people about us back in Ohio, would you?
This is how Joe Schriner spends most of his days, on the streets, building ties to voters through a common bond.
We have a shoestring budget. We just always have just enough to get to the next place. And a lot of American people right now in the average sector, they usually just have enough money to make it to the end of the month, you know, and so they can relate to us a lot more than people driving around in the limousines and flying the Learjets in and out. Would you?
One of those buttons?
Yeah, hold on.
Schreiner's platform is all about getting back to the basics. Running as a concerned parent, he talks of healing America's families through intimate programs.
Kids are being raised by one parent, or they're being raised in front of television, and we think that in order to heal the family, we have to go back to the roots and really help people on an in-depth level to start to understand how to do relationships and what things internally are blocking them from doing healthy relationships.
He also stands up for the environment and educational reform.
What we think is at least a third of the American curriculum, whether at an elementary school, a high school, or a collegiate level, needs to be volunteer work out in the community.
And his family backs him all the way.
They said when I say present.
Like a slide. As First Lady, Liz Schriner says she would still be a full-time mom while taking on several social concerns.
My concerns would be about women's issues, everything from violence through to educating our children.
And even though they say tax cuts and foreign affairs are critical to the presidency, the Schriners say leading the nation is also about leading families to a healthy life.
And you see the country right now, we're getting an A in economic growth, but when it comes to life and social issues, whether it is a breakup of the family, or it is abject poverty in the inner city, or drugs or violence, we're getting a D-. We think if you heal the family, you'd heal the country.